Hi everyone, I'm Joe Dagger of Business 901, part 2 of 3 of the Lean Marketing presentation. You cannot have a conversation about marketing without segmentation, can you? This basic matrix allows us to have pretty high-level conversation without trying to view value streams or product families and such. Let's just view growth through existing or non-existing customers and their unmet needs. In actuality, this looks more fluid as the individual matrices, depending on product or service, will be configured more like a puzzle. Using this matrix, but adding lean thinking to the concept, nothing changes except we now assign a lean scenario to achieving the outcomes in each individual box. As I said before, we find our greatest growth opportunities on the edges of the use of our products and services. We must make a concentrated effort to identify and participate in relevant knowledge flows on the edges, the EDCA. Think about the core being the standard work, SDCA, of your sales strategy. PDCA provides the bridge between the core and the edge. I introduced lean as a sales growth strategy through the process of SDCA, PDCA, and EDCA. This three-step process for using lean I define in this way. Standard work. How do we align our people to focus on our key strength? We must have a clear, non-negotiable, or clarity around who we are and what we do. We need to define core business and put the majority of our company resources into the core until it achieves its full potential. Profitable companies grow profitably. If you are not making money, do not look for growth to correct your problems. The odds are against you. Continuous improvement. How do we make sure we keep improving and adapting? Well, it's through closed-loop learning, PDCA. Most big ideas are made up of a series of successful, smaller ideas driven by a simple and repeatable business model, or SDCA. What is the essence of success? Well, it's a well-differentiated core. Define what you cannot do and explore what you want to. Grow from your core. Now, there's a lot of different core strategies, but they all center on a repeatable business model. New markets and products, EDCA. Find the hassles found on the edge. Experiment, turn fence sitters into customers. What does a lean startup look like then? The lean startup will look something like this. The cycle of a lean startup is where your resources are until you prove product market fit. After doing that, you will not standardize your product immediately. Instead, you will conduct PDCA till a standard marketing customer becomes well defined. Of course, if you believe, which I do, that you must have a profitable, well-differentiated core, most of your resources will be allocated to SDCA. This would be the pattern found in established companies. Standards are the most fundamental and misunderstood concept needed for growth. Your core values are the way you go about what you do and how you do it. It is what your customers understand and experiences. Standards create the wow in your business. When an employee steps out of the box to do something remarkable, it is a result of having the clarification that this is what our standards, values, would encourage us to do. In this model, we deal so often with existing customers. However, within those customers are new customers. With an average of more than 5 people needing to sign off on a purchase decision, this should not be looked at as restrictive, but further opportunity to build into a customer base. It creates an opportunity to participate in today's buzzwords of co-creation and collaboration. And I want to mention, if you review the Toyota partnering hierarchy, that shared understanding, joint Kaizen, was at the top. It is a journey to get there with any company. Our dollars are typically front-loaded at the top of the marketing funnel. We look at marketing to the masses in the hope they will find a likely candidate and narrow them down through discovering how much pain they are relative to our product offering. We are constantly trying to optimize those funnels, thinking it will make them more effective. I call this method of marketing through depletion. It has been said over and over again in the B2B world, 60% of the selling cycle is over by the time we get invited. I like to market to a funnel of opportunity through the 5 R's of growth. The greatest growth opportunities are on the edges or the uses of our products and services, or on the edges of the 5 R's of growth. I call it the rims, and if I needed another R, but we must make a concentrated effort to identify and participate in relevant knowledge flows on the edges of the 5 R's. A physical example of this is Starbucks, a lean company, by the way, and a practitioner of TWI. When they open a new store, it is always adjacent to another store, knowing that they will take 25% of the business away from an existing store. And by doing this, they just about address every one of the 5 R's, and maybe even a little of the 6, the rim, by gathering a few fence sitters in the fold. But how often do you drive by a coffee shop, even McDonald's, with empty lines, and the Starbucks next door has 7 cars lined up? And when we talk about being adaptable or agile, few of us even know what that means. We talk about being customer-centric or customer-focused. But for both of those to take place, we must develop a sales and marketing system that incorporates a structure that values long-term type thinking with a short-term process of regular review and assessment that can be adjusted or changed. We must recognize that sales is not just about a transactional exchange or value at a moment of time, but part of an ongoing investment in customers as appreciating assets. Remember the time when we sold and just hung on during the warranty, hoping service and support did not break us? The quality movement and lean helped change that. It may have changed it so well that many of us make our decisions based on the lifetime value of a customer. So what we need is a reliable system that incorporates both long-term type thinking with a short-term process of regular review. Teams are facing new challenges that are solved by collective thought. This collective thinking needs to be done internally, externally, and across organizations. It will not come naturally. It needs to be created and learned. Paraphrasing a message from Jim Highsmith when discussing adaptive leadership, plans evolve from what we know. SDCA. Adaptions are responses to learning what we don't know. PDCA. Flexibility is the response to changes we expect in the future. EDCA. Lean marketing must encompass all 3 dimensions: standard work, continuous improvement, and exploration. Your competitive landscape is changing from a defined design build to one based on adaptation. The cost of adaptation and the cost of integrating new products and services are spiraling downward. Great products and services are no longer created. They simply evolve. What is the business case for lean in sales and marketing? A lean mindset creates the ability to learn from your customer at a faster rate than your competition. It is your competitive advantage. Thanks, everyone. And if you have any questions, please follow up with me on business901.com, and I invite you to join us at the Lean Marketing Lab.